After a barren draw in the first leg match of the 2022 FIFA World Cup playoff between Ghana and Nigeria at the Babayara Stadium in Kumasi on Friday, it's time for the reverse fixture. The second leg is taking place at the MKO Abiola Stadium about 6 p.m. this evening, but pre-match analysis will happen during the first quarter hour of journalist Hangouts with Emmanuel Akidibua. Emmanuel, thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Emmanuel, I didn't watch the first leg. Not that I didn't have time to watch it, but because of the pressure and everything. So after the match, I actually went for the highlights to see what actually happened, and I discovered that yes, the Super Eagles did not do badly.
Yeah, it was a cautious approach from the Eagles in the first leg. This is the biggest rivalry in African football. Take it anywhere. A rivalry that dates over, half a century. For this generation of players, they know what is at stake, especially this is just one final step before the World Cup. So the Eagles had every reason to approach that game with some caution and came out from Kumasi with something to believe on. All that will not matter anymore now, because in the next few minutes, it will be time for the make or mar, where both sides will go for one final 90 minutes to determine who will get that ticket. The Eagles are in a pole position. The starting lineup has already been announced, and if you look at that statistics on the screen, it shows that the Eagles went there to contain the Ghanaians, but today to be all out attacking display. We have a new look starting 11, a solid midfield. A lot of Nigerians complained about the midfield being too lethargic, allowing the Ghanaians a feed day, but now we've got very, very strong Etebo Genekaro, Frank Oyeka, as well as Joe Aribo, who are going to be holding it down the middle. We've got pacey players, and this is the exciting thing about the starting lineup. On the bench, you still have your Moses Simon, you still have your Samuel Chukwu still on the bench, you have a Kelechi Iheanacho on the bench, and these guys can come in to impact the game. I do not forget we have the big one, Odion Igalo, also on the bench. So it's a very exciting starting 11. I think the Ghanaians are in a big trouble for this one. Victor Osimhen is fired up for this one. 60,000 fans cheering the national team right there at the National Stadium in Abuja. The federal government has given a lot of incentive for the fans to attend this game. Work has closed as early as 1 p.m. at the Federal Secretariat in Abuja. Buses have been provided to take the fans to the stadium. All is looking good for Nigeria to get that ticket tonight and get one major one over their rivals, Ghanaians, in the big game coming up this evening. Your
pre-match analysis, Jide, before that match, and I saw it, you were cautious. You did not predict that, and looking at this now, this is a make or mar match. If we pick the necessary points, 3 points, we're in Qatar. If we don't, we are going to be damned.
Yeah, if we get beaten, then too bad. I can never predict the outcome of any match involving this crop of Super Eagles, because they are a massive pain to watch. I don't enjoy watching them. They can't put 5 straight passes together. Go and watch that match again. Since you said you didn't watch it, the Ghanaians were more composed. They were better in midfield. They distributed the ball far better. And when you look at the way the match went, our own goalkeeper was busier. In fact, on that day, I began to really respect Uzo, because there were some shots that point blank, some of them tricky shots were taken around the near post, and he had this goal covered. There was another one who attempted a dink, and the keeper also had it covered. So I expected, or the Ghanaian team is not a good one. If they had even Ayew, the elder brother, Andre Ayew, maybe it would have been different, because Jordan was just the only person who appeared to have that football sense on the front line, and we are playing badly. Just the same way Moses Simon and Chukwueze contrived to make us lose against a useless Tunisian team. That was what we saw again that day. Because that Tunisian team eventually got eliminated with 10 players of the opposing team to tell you how bad we were. You know? So this is the thing. We've got to play as a team. I think that looking at the players on the field, you sense that the coach wants them to play with some hunger. Everyone knows how Lookman plays. Lookman is very direct and is skillful. The Emmanuel Dennis is also a tricky player. He can make things happen. Those two wingers, Chukwueze and Simon, who had consistently been playing badly, it's a good thing that the coaches appear to have made up their minds to drop them this time. That should help us to win. If we can't beat a Ghanaian team since I've been watching Nigeria, monitoring Ghanaian football, this is the worst set of Ghanaian players that I've ever seen. And if we can't beat this kind of team, then something is really wrong with us.
What do you make of the performance of Osimhen?
Well, let me cut the team some slack because I think Vicky went really hard, understandably, on the team.
Yeah.
World Cup playoffs are quite tricky. I mean, we've seen European champions Italy fall at home to North Macedonia. That's not to say we need to excuse a poor performance from the Eagles, but I would still say that the performance in Kumasi was not that poor. Yes, it exposed some lapses. Understandably, the manager had to bring in some players who were not part of the
You'll be used to them playing badly before your eyes. I'm not a sports writer. Some of the matches they came to play here in Lagos, they played badly. You and I have been here that you complain about the team.
Come up with all these tricks, and it's very hard in football. You see a team go through the qualifiers clinically and go ahead and do so well at the tournament. It's very hard. I mean, if you could see a Portugal who are still battling to qualify, you see a Chile who are still battling to qualify. Qualifiers are very tricky. But let's come down to this game. I think we have 90% odds on our side. Like BK rightly pointed out, the Ghanaian team are not so fantastic. The manager, Otto Addo, was brought in less than 3 months ago. I mean, it was even after the Nations Cup, that's less than 2 months ago. So I really do not think how this Ghanaian could stop the Eagles. The only people who could stop the Eagles are themselves. Yes. And the good one that the coach has identified some weak points, has brought in a very attacking and direct-minded wingers. Osimhen is going to be very fantastic as always. He was the man to go to in the last game, creating a lot of threats. He even won a contentious penalty call that was overruled by the VAR in that game. So it tells you that with the right atmosphere, with the right attacking play, Etebo, Aribo, and Onyeka in the middle, expect some physicality, expect some string passes to come into that team. And I think Nigeria should get the result today. Even if it is a 2-1 score, even if it's a 3-0 score, I am very confident that the Eagles will be able to see out the job today.
Do you think at the end of the day we might be forced into a penalty shootout?
No, that's not what I'm expecting. I want to be hopeful. I want to be prayerful because, look, I can't bet on a team that plays sometimes like there's nothing at stake. Football is won not all the time by the team that has the best players,
definitely.
But the team in which the players complement themselves, sufficiently. We've seen Israel, football illiterate, like Israel eliminate France from the World Cup qualifiers. But though that's a long time ago, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen again. If you fail to play well, if you fail to rise to the occasion, a weak team will teach you a lesson. I just hope that this team playing in Abuja will rise to the occasion and not put our country to shame. That is my wish. It's not, I'm not imagining that a penalty will happen, a penalty kicks will happen. If it goes to penalty kicks, then my adrenaline would then, I don't know. Yes, that's not what I'm wishing to see.
That's not the kind of birthday present that we
just do for the analysis here.